The square was built from black stone and old fear. Tall pillars surrounded it, carved with symbols of past punishments, warnings to anyone who dared to break the laws of the coalition. At the center of the square stood a raised platform. Chains hung from metal arms, cold and heavy. The crowd gathered in silence, not cheering, not protesting. Most of them kept their eyes low. This was not a place where people spoke their minds. On the platform, the alien girl knelt. She was small, much smaller than the guards who surrounded her. Her skin was pale silver with faint blue lines that glowed softly, like dying stars. Her eyes were large and dark, filled with fear and confusion. She looked young, though no one in the crowd cared to ask her age. To them, she was not a child. She was a danger. The sentence had already been read. The words echoed in many minds. By order of the Coalition Council, subject of the Iolari strain is found guilty of destabilizing this colony. Punishment. Quartering. Immediate. The guards moved closer. One of them reached for the chains. The alien girl shook. She did not scream. She had learned long ago that screaming changed nothing. Instead, she whispered words in her own language, a soft prayer to something long forgotten. She did not understand what she had done wrong. Her kind had always helped others. They healed worlds. They calmed stars. But when the galaxy began to fail, fear needed a target. Her people became that target. At the edge of the crowd stood a human. His name was Marcus Hale. He wore no uniform, only a worn combat jacket and boots covered in dust. A rifle rusted against his back unused. He was not here for justice or politics. He had been hired as temporary security for a nearby trade route. He had come to the square only because his shift was over and the noise had drawn him in. At first, he thought it was another execution. He had seen many since leaving Earth. The galaxy had many ways of killing those it feared. He turned to leave. Then he heard the voice. It was not loud. It was not even in a language he understood. But there was something in it. Not anger, not hate, just fear. Pure and small and helpless. Marcus stopped. He looked back. He saw the girl's hands shaking as the guards pulled her up. He saw how thin her arms were, how the chains looked too heavy for her body. He noticed something else too. No restraints on her mouth. No signs of resistance. No marks of a violent criminal. Why? He muttered to himself. He stepped closer to the crowd, listening. A nearby alien, tall and scaled, spoke quietly to another. Her species causes star collapse. Better to end it now. Marcus frowned. That true? He asked, speaking galactic common. The alien stiffened. That is what the council says. Have you seen it happen? Marcus asked. The alien looked away. No. The guards began attaching the chains to the metal arms. The executioner raised a hand. The crowd tensed. Marcus felt something twist in his chest. He had felt it before. Back on Earth. Back in war zones where orders and morality did not match. Humans had a word for it. Conscience! Hey! Marcus shouted. The sound cut through the square like a blade. Every head turned. The executioner paused. This is an authorized punishment, he said coldly. Interference is prohibited. Marcus pushed through the crowd. You're about to kill a kid, he said. She is not a child, the executioner replied. She is a biological threat. Marcus climbed onto the platform before anyone could stop him. Guards raised their weapons. Stand down, one of them shouted. Marcus looked at the girl. Up close, her fear hit him like a wave. She looked at him, eyes wide, clearly expecting death to come faster now. You, understand me? Marcus asked gently.
She shook her head. That's okay, he said softly.
I got you.
The executioner signaled, fire if he resists. Marcus moved fast.
He grabbed the nearest chain and yanked it free with a sharp pull, sparks flying. Then he turned and kicked the executioner off the platform. Chaos erupted instantly. Guards shouted, weapons charged. Marcus drew his sidearm and fired, not at bodies, but at control nodes, joints, power packs. He moved like someone who had done this before, because he had. The crowd scattered. Within seconds, the platform was a mess of fallen guards and sparking metal. Marcus cut the remaining chains and lifted the girl into his arms. She was light, too light. Alarms blared across the square. Marcus jumped down and ran. They moved through narrow streets, alarms echoing behind them. The girl clutched his jacket, her grip weak but desperate. She did not know where they were going. She only knew she was not dying. Not yet. "Hold on," Marcus said, breathing hard. "Almost there." He reached an old service tunnel used for cargo waste. He kicked the door open and slipped inside just as blaster fire scorched the wall behind him. The tunnel was dark and smelled of rust. Marcus ran until his lungs burned, then finally slowed when the alarms faded into the distance. He set the girl down gently. She collapsed against the wall, shaking. Her glow dimmed, the blue lines on her skin flickering like weak lights. Marcus knelt in front of her. "You okay?" She stared at him, eyes full of tears. Slowly, she raised a trembling hand and touched his sleeve, as if to make sure he was real. "You... saved me?" she asked in broken comment. Marcus blinked. "Yeah, I guess I did." "Why?" she whispered. The question hit harder than any weapon. Marcus didn't have a perfect answer. He rubbed the back of his neck. "Because it was wrong," he said simply. She looked down. "They say I destroy worlds." Marcus shook his head. "I don't believe that." She closed her eyes, a single tear sliding down her cheek. "No one ever says that." For a moment, neither of them spoke. The galaxy outside kept moving, unaware that something important had just changed. Marcus stood up. "What's your name, Lyra?" she said. "All right, Lyra," he said. "We're getting off this rock." Her eyes widened. "They will hunt you." He smiled faintly. "Yeah, they always do." Above them, the Coalition declared a human criminal. A bounty was issued. Orders were sent across systems. But in a dark tunnel, a human and an alien girl took their first steps towards something the galaxy had forgotten. Hope. The tunnel opened into the lower industrial district, a place most citizens avoided. Old factories slept in rust and shadow, and broken lights flickered like tired stars. Marcus moved carefully, keeping Lyra close to him. He had wrapped his jacket around her shoulders because she was shaking, not only from fear, but from exhaustion. Behind them, the city was awake and angry. Coalition alerts echoed across public channels. Screens lit up with Marcus's face pulled from security feeds. His name followed in harsh letters. Human. Interferer. Criminal. A reward was offered for information, a larger one for capture. Dead or alive. Marcus watched one of the screens from a distance and let out a slow breath. "Well," he muttered. That escalated fast. Lyra looked at the screen too. Her glow dimmed even more. "You should leave me," she said quietly. "I bring trouble." Marcus crouched beside her. "Listen to me," he said. "I didn't pull you off that platform to hand you back later." "You don't understand," she replied. "My kind always brings fear. Wherever we go, disaster follows. That's what they say," Marcus answered. "Doesn't make it true." She looked at him, confused. Her people believed in balance, in cycles. Humans believed in choices. This difference would change everything. They moved deeper into the district, avoiding patrols and drones. Marcus knew the area well. He had worked here months ago, guarding cargo shipments. He remembered hidden routes, unused mag rails, and one thing most Coalition forces ignored: old human tech. They reached a small warehouse buried between two collapsed structures. Marcus pried open the door and slipped inside. Dust filled the air. Crates lay stacked against the walls, forgotten and sealed. "This will do for now," he said. Lyra sat down slowly, clearly weak. The blue lines on her skin pulsed unevenly. Marcus frowned.
You're not okay.
She shook her head.
I used too much energy earlier.
Fear makes it worse. He dug into his pack and pulled out a ration bar and a water pouch. He hesitated, then handed them to her. "Try this." She sniffed the bar, unsure. "This is food?" "Kind of," Marcus said. "Not good food, but it works." She took a careful bite. Her eyes widened. "Salty. Yeah," he smiled. "Humans love salt." As she ate, her glow steadied slightly. Marcus leaned back against a crate, keeping watch. After a long silence, she spoke again. "They were going to tear me apart," she said, voice shaking. "Slowly." In front of everyone. Marcus clenched his jaw. "I know. Why do they hate us so much?" she asked. "We helped them once." Marcus looked at her. "Tell me." Lyra hesitated, then nodded. "Long ago, when the stars began to collapse, my people used our gift. We calmed them. We saved systems. But it took strength. Many of us died." She paused, eyes distant. "After the crisis passed, the Coalition feared us. They said if we could save stars, we could also destroy them. They blamed every failure on us. Slowly, we disappeared." Marcus listened carefully. "So they rewrote history."
Yes, she whispered.
Marcus let out a bitter laugh. "Humans know that story." Outside, engines roared. A patrol passed nearby. Marcus held his breath until the sound faded. "We can't stay here long," he said. "I've got a ship. Not fancy, but fast."
"You have a ship?" "Barely," he replied. "But it flies. They waited until night cycle."
When the streets quieted, they moved again, sticking to shadows and broken paths. Lyra stayed close, trusting him more with each step, even though fear still lived in her chest. At the docking yards, Coalition security was heavy. Ships were grounded. Inspections were strict.
Marcus cursed under his breath.
They locked it down. Lyra looked at the ships, sadness in her eyes. "This is my fault." Marcus took a deep breath. "No, this is fear's fault." He scanned the area, then smiled slightly. "Follow my lead." He walked straight toward a checkpoint, shoulders relaxed. Lyra hesitated, then followed, keeping her head down. A guard stepped forward. Identification. Marcus handed over a data chip. The guard scanned it, frowning. "This says you're a freight contractor," the guard said. "Yeah," Marcus replied calmly. "Late delivery." "Boss is already screaming." The guard glanced at Lyra. "What is she?" Marcus didn't miss a beat. "Medical evac. Radiation exposure. Don't get too close." The guard recoiled slightly. Fear did the rest. "Move along," the guard said quickly. They didn't stop walking until they reached Marcus's ship, a small, scratched freighter hidden behind larger vessels. Inside, Marcus sealed the hatch and powered up systems. The engines hummed to life. Lyra sat in a seat gripping the armrests. "I've never left my world before," she said. "First time for everything," Marcus said. As the ship lifted off, alarms flared. Coalition Control shouted orders. Marcus pushed the engines harder.
Hold on,
He said. Blaster fire streaked past the hull. The ship shook, but held. Then they broke atmosphere. Stars filled the view. Lyra stared, breathless.
It's beautiful!
Marcus smiled. Yeah, that's why it's worth fighting for. But their escape was not clean. A coalition cruiser jumped into their path. Marcus swore. That's bad! A message came through. Cold and official. Power down. Surrender the Allery subject. Lyra's hands trembled. This is it. Marcus shook his head. Not yet. He opened a broadcast channel. Not to the cruiser, but to every open frequency. This is Marcus Hale, he said. Human citizen. You're hunting a girl you're too afraid to understand. She's not your enemy. The cruiser fired. Marcus cut the channel and pulled a hard maneuver. The ship groaned. We won't outrun them, he muttered. Lyra closed her eyes. I can help. Marcus turned. What do you mean? My gift, she said. It reacts to stars, even weak ones. You're exhausted, he said. She met his eyes. If I don't act, you die because of me. Marcus hesitated. Then he nodded. Okay. But only enough to get us clear. She focused. The blue lines on her skin brightened, steady and strong. Outside, the nearby star flared gently, releasing a wave of energy that disrupted sensors. The cruiser faltered. Marcus! Jump the ship into hyperspace. Silence followed. Lyra collapsed, unconscious. Marcus caught her before she fell. As the stars stretched into light, Marcus realized something had changed. He hadn't just saved a life. He had challenged the galaxy's lie, and the galaxy had noticed. Hyperspace was quiet, but the silence felt heavy. Light stretched into long lines outside the ship, humming softly like distant wind. Marcus sat in the pilot's seat, hands steady on the controls, eyes moving between the instruments and the small form lying behind him. Lyra was unconscious. He had placed her on the narrow bunk and covered her with his jacket again. Her skin still glowed faintly, but the light was uneven, pulsing slowly. Every time it dimmed too much, Marcus's chest tightened. Come on, he muttered. Stay with me. The ship's medical scanner was old but functional. Marcus ran it carefully. The results were unclear, filled with unknown readings. Her biology was nothing like a human's. Still, one thing was obvious. She was drained. Hours passed. Finally, her fingers twitched. Marcus leaned forward instantly. Hey, easy. Her eyes opened slowly, unfocused at first. Then she saw him and tried to sit up. No, Marcus said gently. Don't move! She froze, then relaxed when she realized she was safe. Did we escape? He nodded.
Wow!
Yeah! You did good!
She frowned weakly. I broke my rule. What rule? We are taught never to use our gift out of fear, she said.
Fear twists it. Marcus sat back. You used it to save lives. That matters.
She studied him quietly. You really believe that?
Yeah, he said. I do. For a while, neither spoke. The ship moved steadily through hyperspace toward a system Marcus knew well, far from Coalition control, close to human space. Eventually, Lyra broke the silence. They will not stop hunting us, Marcus sighed. I know.
They will say you kidnapped me, that I control you.
Marcus laughed softly. They already think worse about humans. Won't be new. She tilted her head. Why do humans care so much about strangers? Marcus thought about Earth. About old wars, protests, people standing up when it was dangerous. About people who didn't. "We don't always," he said honestly. "But when we do, we go all in." The ship dropped out of hyperspace near a quiet station built around a dying moon. Human-made, rough. Honest, no golden towers, no perfect order. Marcus relaxed slightly.
Welcome to the Edge. They docked without trouble.
Inside the station, mechanics, traders, and travelers moved freely. No execution platforms, no public fear rituals. Still, Marcus kept Lyra close. Eyes followed them, not hostile. Curious. One human child stared openly at Lyra's glowing skin. "Whoa," he said. His mother gently pulled him back. "Don't stare. It's okay," Lyra said softly. The woman blinked, surprised, then smiled awkwardly. "Welcome," she said. Wherever you're from." Lyra smiled back, small and uncertain. Marcus noticed his chest warmed. They rented a small room near the docks. Lyra rested while Marcus checked public networks. What he saw made his stomach drop. The coalition had moved fast. Images of Lyra filled the feeds. Words like stellar destabilizer, living weapon, an existential threat repeated again and again. Marcus's own face appeared beside hers, labeled human extremist.
They're scared, Marcus muttered.
Lyra stood behind him, reading over his shoulder. Her glow dimmed. "This is what they do." Marcus clenched his fists. "Then we tell the truth." She looked at him sharply. "How?" He turned to face her. "By showing people who you really are." "That has never worked before," she said.
"Then we try harder." Marcus began sending messages. Not threats.
Not demands. Evidence. Old data fragments he had pulled from forgotten archives during past jobs. Records of star systems saved long ago. Witness logs. Scientific reports quietly buried by the coalition. He sent them everywhere. Human worlds, neutral systems, independent networks. It didn't explode overnight, but it spread. Slowly. Debates started. Comment threads filled. Historians spoke up. Scientists asked questions the coalition had avoided for centuries. And then the coalition responded. Bounties doubled. Ships were dispatched. Marcus and Lyra moved again. They jumped between systems, never staying long. Each time, Lyra recovered a bit more. Each time she helped in small ways, calming unstable reactors, easing radiation storms, saving lives quietly. And each time, more people saw. On a mining colony, she stabilized a failing power core, preventing an explosion. The workers stared in disbelief. "You saved us," one whispered. Lyra bowed her head. "That is what my people were meant to do." Word spread faster after that. Not propaganda. Stories. A human doctor posted a message. "She healed my station." A trader wrote, "They could have escaped, but they stayed to help us." The coalition called it manipulation. People called it hope. One night, as the ship drifted between jumps, Lyra sat beside Marcus in the cockpit. "Why are you still doing this?" she asked quietly. "You could disappear. Humans are good at that." Marcus smiled sadly. "Because if I run now, they win." She watched him. "You're not afraid?" "Oh, I'm terrified," he said.
I just hate injustice more. She was silent for a long time. Then she said, "My people believed the galaxy would remember us one day." Marcus glanced at her.
"Looks like today might be that day." A warning alarm cut through the moment. Marcus's smile vanished. "We've got company." Multiple coalition ships appeared on sensors, blocking their next jump point. This time, Lyra said softly, they came prepared. Yeah, a transmission came through. The same cold voice as before.
Human vessel! Power down! There will be no escape. Marcus opened a channel. To everyone.
You're watching because you're curious, he said calmly. Because something doesn't add up.
Ask yourself why they're so desperate to silence one girl. The coalition fired. The ship shook violently.
Systems failed. Marcus fought the controls. We're not making it, he growled. Lyra stepped forward, weak but determined. Then let them see. She placed her hands against the hull. Light spread. Not violent, not destructive. The nearby star responded. Not flaring, but stabilizing. Sensors across systems lit up. Data streamed openly, impossible to hide. The coalition ships faltered, not destroyed, but exposed. Every feed lit up with proof. Silence followed. Marcus stared at the displays. You did it. Lyra collapsed again. Marcus caught her, heart pounding. Across the galaxy, people watched the truth unfold. And fear began to crack. The silence after the light was heavy, like the moment after a storm when no one is sure if it is truly over. The coalition ships floated in place, their weapons powered down by safety locks triggered from inside their own systems. Data poured across open channels, copied and shared faster than anyone could stop it. Proof of what Lyra had done. Proof of what her people had always done. Marcus held her tightly as her body went limp. Her glow faded to a weak shimmer. Stay with me, he said, his voice low and rough.
You hear me? You don't get to save the galaxy and then quit.
The ship's alarm screamed again. Power levels dropped.
Navigation fail. We're dead in space,
Marcus muttered. A new signal appeared on the scanner. Not coalition. Human. Then another. And another. Independent ships. Traders. Medical vessels. Even a few alien ships that had once followed the coalition without question. They were coming. A calm voice came through the comms.
This is the civilian ship Wayfarer.
We see you. Medical team standing by.
Marcus let out a breath he didn't realize he was holding. Docking permission granted, he replied. The transfer was fast and careful. Lyra was moved onto a clean medical bed, surrounded by humans and aliens working side by side. Scanners buzzed softly. Lights blinked. Marcus stood back, hands shaking now that the danger had caught up with him. She's not human, one medic said.
But I've never seen readings like this.
Her cells respond to stellar radiation. She's dying, isn't she? Marcus asked. The medic hesitated. She's exhausted beyond safe limits. But she's still fighting. Marcus nodded. That sounds like her. Hours passed. Outside the medical bay, chaos spread across the networks. The Coalition Council released emergency statements, trying to regain control. They claimed the data was fabricated, that the human had forced the alien to act, but it didn't work. Too many systems had felt the change. Failing stars stabilized. Power grids recovered. Long-term damage reversed in real time. You couldn't fake that. Protests erupted on coalition worlds. Scientists demanded open access to archives. Old ALRA records were pulled from hidden vaults. The truth flooded out. Lyra's species had never destroyed stars. They had been used until they were almost gone. Marcus sat alone, staring at the floor, when footsteps approached. A tall alien with skin like polished stone stopped in front of him.
I was wrong,
the alien said. Marcus looked up.
About what? About humans, the alien replied. About her.
Marcus said nothing. The alien bowed slightly and walked away. Eventually, the medical bay doors slid open. A doctor stepped out. "She's awake," the doctor said. "Weak, but awake." Marcus stood so fast his chair tipped over. Lyra lay quietly when he entered, her eyes open, glow faint but steady. She turned her head when she sensed him. "You're loud," she said softly. Marcus laughed. A broken sound. "Yeah." "Sorry." He sat beside her. "You scared me."
"I scared myself?" she replied. "Did it work?" He nodded.
The whole galaxy saw. She closed her eyes, relief washing over her face. Then it was worth it. Before Marcus could reply, alarms rang again, different tone this time. Urgent.
A voice echoed through the ship. "Coalition fleet incoming!"
"Heavy, class." Marcus swore.
They're not done. The doctor frowned. We can't fight that.
Marcus leaned close to Lyra. "Listen, you need to rest."
I'll handle this. She opened her eyes sharply.
No, they came for me. They came for control, Marcus said.
And they just lost it. Outside, massive coalition warships appeared, blocking exits.
Their message was short. Surrender the Alari.
All other matters are irrelevant.
The Wayfarer shook as warning shots hit its shields. Marcus stepped onto the bridge and opened a wide broadcast. "You're still doing this?" he said calmly.
After everything?
A new voice answered.
Older?
Tired. "Order must be preserved." Marcus shook his head.
Order built on lies doesn't last. The coalition prepared to fire. Then something unexpected happened.
One coalition ship powered down. Then another. A third turned away. Voices filled the channel, overlapping, confused, angry. "We will not fire on civilians. We will not erase the truth. We are done." The coalition fleet fractured. The remaining loyal ships fired anyway. Before they could hit, a wave of energy swept the area. Not violent, not destructive. Protective. A shield formed around the civilian ships. Lyra stood at the center of the medical bay, barely upright, hands raised, light flowing from her body. "No more," she whispered. The energy spread, linking ships together, stabilizing systems, neutralizing weapons. The battlefield froze. Marcus watched in awe. This was not fear. This was choice. The remaining coalition ships retreated. Silence returned again, but this time it felt different. Days later, representatives from dozens of systems gathered on a neutral station. Humans, aliens. Now, former coalition members. Lyra sat beside Marcus, wrapped in a soft blanket, recovering slowly. The council chamber was tense. A speaker stood. "The galaxy owes a debt." Murmurs followed. Another voice added, "To the Ilari, and to the human who reminded us what courage looks like." Marcus shifted uncomfortably. "I didn't do this for titles," the speaker smiled.
We know! That's why it matters. They discussed reparations, protection, rebuilding what was lost.
Plans formed. Old laws were overturned. The coalition, as it once existed, was finished. When it ended, Marcus stood to leave quietly. Lyra reached for his hand. "Where will you go?" she asked. He shrugged, same as always, somewhere new. She looked at him, eyes shining. "My people will want to thank you." Marcus smiled softly. "You already did." She squeezed his hand.
This is not the end. He met her gaze. No.
"It's a beginning." Outside the chamber, the stars burned steady and calm. And for the first time in a long time, the galaxy felt like it might finally heal. The station slowly emptied after the council ended. Delegates returned to their ships carrying new laws, new hopes, and heavy thoughts. News streams across the galaxy kept repeating the same images. The light around Lyra, the frozen battlefield, the Coalition fleet breaking apart. Some called it a miracle. Others called it the end of an era. Marcus wanted none of it. He stood alone at the edge of the docking ring, looking out through the wide glass at open space. Stars burned calmly now, steady and quiet, as if nothing terrible had ever happened. Footsteps approached behind him. "You're avoiding everyone," Lyra said softly. Marcus smiled without turning. "You noticed."
You.
She moved to stand beside him. Her strength had returned slowly. The glow on her skin was gentle now, controlled, no longer flickering. She wore simple clothes provided by the station, nothing ceremonial. "They want to name things after you," she said. Programs. Even ships. Marcus sighed.
That sounds exhausting. She tilted her head, studying him. You don't like being thanked. I like knowing things are better, he replied.
I don't need statues for that. For a moment, they stood in silence. Then Lyra asked the question she had been holding back.
Are you leaving? Marcus nodded.
Yeah, soon. Her glow dimmed slightly. I thought so. You don't sound surprised? I know humans, she said. You finish the fight, then you walk away. He chuckled. Something like that. She turned to face him fully. My people are being gathered. Survivors. Hidden colonies. Refugees.
They want me to help rebuild. That's good, Marcus said honestly.
They also want you to stay, she added.
Marcus finally looked at her. I figured. They say you are important, she continued, carefully. A symbol. He raised an eyebrow. That sounds worse than statues. She smiled faintly.
I told them you wouldn't like that.
Marcus leaned back against the railing. Listen, Lyra, what you and your people need right now is space to heal. If I stay, everything turns into the human who saved us. That's not healthy. She considered this. Slowly, she nodded. You think your presence would become a shadow? Exactly. Her eyes softened. You always see things clearly. Don't spread that rumor, he said. They shared a quiet laugh. Across the station, a new ship was being prepared. Sleek, white, marked with neutral symbols. It would carry Lyra and other Aelari to a protected system, far from old enemies. A representative approached them carefully. It's time, they said to Lyra. She nodded, then hesitated. One moment. The representative stepped away. Lyra turned back to Marcus. Her voice was steady, but her eyes shone.
There is something you should know, Marcus straightened. Okay. When I stopped the weapons...
When I shielded the ships, she said. I didn't do it alone. He frowned. What do you mean? My people, she said quietly. Those who died calming stars long ago. Their energy never left the galaxy. It joined the stars themselves. When I reached out, they answered. Marcus felt a chill.
You're saying they helped you?
Yes, she said.
And they noticed you?
Marcus blinked. I'm not sure I like where this is going, she smiled gently. They asked me to give you something. She reached out and placed her hand over his chest. Not glowing, not dramatic. Just warm. Marcus felt it instantly. Not power, not strength. Connection. Suddenly, he could feel the stars, not hear them, not see them differently, but sense them. Their weight, their distance, their balance. He staggered slightly.
Whoa!
She pulled her hand back.
It's not a weapon!
You can't control stars. You can only feel when something is wrong. Marcus took a slow breath. You just turned me into a cosmic alarm. Yes, she said.
A very human one, he laughed, stunned. That's unfair. Her smile faded into something more serious. You saved one of us when it mattered most. This is our way of making sure you are never alone in the dark. Marcus looked at his hands, then back at her.
Does this mean I can't ignore trouble anymore? She met his eyes. You never did.
The announcement echoed again. Final boarding. Lyra stepped back, then surprised him by hugging him tightly. For a moment, Marcus froze. Then he hugged her back. You changed everything, she said, into his shoulder. So did you, he replied. She pulled away. Will we meet again? Marcus smiled softly.
The galaxy's big, but not that big.
She nodded and turned toward the ship. Marcus watched as she walked away, surrounded by her people, not prisoners. Not hunted, free. Later, Marcus boarded his own ship, the same old freighter, patched and scarred, but reliable. As he powered up, a message came through on an open channel. It was from the new council.
We offer humanity a permanent seat, the voice said, not as rulers,
as guardians. Because when the galaxy failed its own values, a human reminded us. Marcus shook his head and sent a short reply. Appreciated. But you don't need permission to do the right thing. He cut the channel. As his ship lifted off, he felt it again, a quiet pull. Somewhere far away, a star wavered slightly. Marcus adjusted course.
Yeah,
he said to the empty cockpit.
I'm on my way.
Across the galaxy, stories spread, not of weapons or conquest, but of a human who stood between fear and a helpless girl, and of how, sometimes, the greatest reward was not power or praise, but knowing that because you acted, the universe tilted just a little closer to justice.